language. And but so far, my spotter Eric and Darian is a 500 winner, and he's been in this position before, so he knows the very slow step and how to approach very calm. And you can see I'm a little bit energized. So sometimes him and I actually a great mix. So, but just talking to a lot of the drivers, talking to a lot of my teammates. So when I make a decision, or when I explain what the car is happening, so they can make a move and change something fast.
All right, that's Elio Castroneves, the race car driver, not the employee at Wendy's, but it looks nice.
Please, employee of the month, Frosty. I'm telling you, the chocolate.
With French fries.
You keep the French fries.
Regan.
Elio Castroneves' teammate Ross Chastain. Ross, I got to ask you, than IndyCar, have you helped him out with that at all? What have you had to tell him so far this week?
Save fuel. That's the name of the game. No, he's a professional, so he knew what he was doing when he came over here. Now the drafting stuff is stuff he just has to learn on his own, and we told him that early on, that he just needed to get into the duel, and I wish he had more laps, but obviously a lot of experience through the ARCA race. Some good, some not so good, but just getting laps around here and feeling the air, I think, is the best thing he could be doing.
Let's talk about your day so far. Early on in the race, really seemed like the one car took a run to the front almost immediately, much like what happened in the duels the other night. It seems like you've had a ton of speed. What is the strength right now of that car?
Well, it was not qualifying, so we're still trying to finish that lap. I think that thing was not good by itself, but yes, like you said, in the draft and pushing, I feel like I can dictate a lot and while saving fuel. So right there, I was following Ty in the 10 and was fine to be part throttle, and really didn't even want to see those guys get up, the front two guys in our bottom row, get up to the middle lane, but it's all worked out fine. So it's just a balance, but I'm able to stay right up there at part throttle. So hats off to Trackhouse, and they got it driving better. So in the past, it's like I say, my car has been pretty bouncy or aggressive on the stops, on the bump stops, on the springs and shocks, bottoming out, which was intentional, but it was a handful for me to drive, but I'd kind of gotten used to it. And then the other drivers that I would draft with would kind of comment to me, and we've gotten it up and gotten it driving better, just to be more stable. So now we've got to work through the balance of that. We had gotten used to the balance of the old car or the old setup, and now we've went a different path. So that's a very, very low bar to explain it, like a lower car and higher car, but the Busch Light Chevy pushes well and actually gets pushed pretty well too.
Okay, I gotta ask you about a tweet. Is there a tweet with you maybe making a weird face or something like that perhaps happened recently? That's right, there is. Yeah, I saw that little guy walking out of the driver's meeting room, and I was like, man, can I get a picture? This is awesome. And, you see stuff through social media, but when you actually get to make the connection in person, it means a lot more for me. So I've learned, I guess over the couple of years I've been doing this, that like take the opportunity, take the picture. I just leaving the Super Bowl media day, I could have taken a picture with Venus Williams, and like I regret not doing it now. Like I had the opportunity on it, so I was leaving the Super Bowl going, take the picture, like take the opportunity. So the Riz right there, strike a pose and do it. I think somebody else is taking the opportunity right now, because Josh Shims has Noah Gragson and maybe somebody else right now, Josh?
Yeah, speaking of it, it's the man of the hour, the Rizzlers over here hanging out with Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson, you got a new fan over here.
Yeah, the Rizzler, we've been hanging out, opening up some Panini NASCAR cards, checking out the cards.
Yeah, thanks for signing these cards.
Got some gloves for the Rizzler. This is a king right here. We're having some fun, enjoying this rain delay here at the Daytona 500. And my sponsor, Rusty Rush, he was saying that he knows who the most mature one. Here's Rusty right here. Who's the most mature one?
That one.
He's saying the Rizzler is the most mature one. So should we hit a Riz face for the camera?
You gotta love that. Always wondering where the place to be during a rain delay is, and it's always your hauler. I know that right away. So what's this day been like for you? Not just obviously hanging out with the Rizzler right now, but Daytona 500 day with a new team too.
It's always really special to come down here to Daytona and just be at the racetrack. Nonetheless, do it for the Daytona 500. The atmosphere here on race day, we have probably the most busy schedules all year today. Meeting everyone, going out to the merchandise hauler signing autographs, and then pre-race starts, going to the driver's meeting. Driver intros is always a blast, and how about the Thunderbirds? Those are pretty insane too. So it's the Great American Race. It's the biggest one of the year for a reason, and you can feel that presence today.
All right, so for you, the Rizzler, can you teach me the Riz face, please? Can you show me? Can we all do it?
So first you gotta suck in like this. And then you gotta raise your eyebrow out like this. And then you do it all together. And that's how you do the Riz face.
You got any girlfriends?
I used to.
Used to?
Yeah.
How many girlfriends?
Like 4.
You used to manage 4 at a time?
Yeah.
All right, I need you to do one thing for me. Say, Chris Myers, do the Riz face.
Chris Myers, do the Riz face.
All right, sorry, Riz. Well, you got a little mop thing there. I don't really do the Riz.
Chris, you're so excited. You got that solo shot right there.
It's the first single I had the entire afternoon. There you go. Are we on yet? No. Hey, the Rizzler, by the way, 8-year-old social media star, celeb from New Jersey. Cool. And speaking of New Jersey, I don't know if Dave Portnoy is watching, but Jersey Jerry is here. I think Rico Bosco, big NASCAR fans are here. And we have the guy who won the race last year, William Byron, and his Hendrick Chevrolet. And actually led some last. But let's talk about, I know it's a whole new year, right? But this never gets old watching this.
Yeah, it's that's not a good highlight, but everything else is good about that day. So it was
you had to overcome
a
lot. Obviously, it doesn't start out exactly the way you want.
Yeah. No, it was that day was just really special, and anytime you can get to victory lane here at Daytona is huge. But winning the Daytona 500 really changed my life. So it was a cool experience.
And you've already had a few laps led today, and obviously we're stopping, and it looks like we're going to get back at it soon. So how did it feel out there, and what are you anticipating once you get to racing again?
My car felt good. We're not really pushing the pace yet. Like we're kind of saving fuel, and there was a little bit of pressure from the third lane, so we're starting to go a little bit faster there. But it's so early in the race. You're just trying to really get through the first opening laps, kind of get the cobwebs knocked off and feel comfortable. And my car feels really comfortable. So I feel like this is one of the best speedway cars I've had in a while. Just the ability to get pushed and have that amount of speed to stay up front. So so far so good, but it's early and just got to get through the first stage and get rolling.
Yeah, speaking of your car, the car that you won with last year, they took from you. You haven't seen it, and we saw that you actually got that back today. What's that like? I saw you peek inside and look at it to see if it was any different.
Yeah, I just honestly wanted to remember what it was like on the inside of the car, because a lot changes, your positions of mirrors and your seat changes and everything like that. So it's just neat to relive that, because that's the last time I'll get a chance to see it. So I was kind of like a little kid there, just reliving that, and it was fun to be there with Mr. Hendrick and Jeff and everybody. So they'll do something with that. This sport changes pretty fast, so I don't think that car being a backup car last year is going to have any purpose this year. So I'm sure it's not one of our best cars, but I'm sure it'll go somewhere cool.
Why does your teammate Alex Bowman call you the babyface assassin?
I mean, I think
it's. I would read it as you look at it, said, but you'll do anything to win.
I guess I have young skin.
That kind of.
Yeah. that will pay off later in life. I promise.
Well,
Chris knows.
You were an Eagle Scout, right? And I love the story. I know it's been told, but for those that may be tuning in that don't follow as often, your career began really iRacing. Describe how that unfolded, and when you first started, did you do it thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna be a driver. This is what I'm meant to do"?
Yeah, I was just at home all the time just racing, and I would race 24/7 to the point where I didn't want to do anything else. I would just come home, race on my simulator, and that's what I love to do. And so I think that's my passion for racing started well before iRacing, but iRacing was kind of that platform that I could use to get involved in the driving side, and ended up winning a bunch of races. And then just once I got into a race car for the first time, things just clicked. Like I didn't know how to do anything else besides just race the car and go around the racetrack fast, so it just clicked.
You like this type of racing? Like you've won 4 times on drafting style racetracks here, Talladega or Atlanta.
Yeah.
We had Larson on just a second ago, and he obviously doesn't get overly excited when you come to these. You like this?
I honestly don't love it, but I've learned.
Why?
To,
like what is it?
It's just it's not a lot in your control. You feel like from sitting in the, like sitting and looking at it from a a broad view, you're like, man, there's so much out of my control. So for a long time, I didn't look forward to coming to these races. And then I figured out the things that I could control, and I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on that. No matter what the result is, I will, do a good job, and whether it's blocking or just learning how to be pushed or push. So I think there's so many things you can control, but you can't really control the results. So you have to throw that out and just say to yourself, did I do the best job I could do in these different areas? And you can tell the guys that really are good at it, and the guys that can embrace it and use it as an advantage.
How will you use your time? I don't know, right now, some iRacing in between, or go over
video? Snacks. I was killing the snacks in the motorhome.
What's the go-to?
I had goldfish, I had peanuts, and those little I had some chocolates too. So
say if you come back out here, Myers and I, we like chocolate.
Yeah,
we're big,
I'll give you guys some.
Big chocoholics. All right, so going back to back, obviously a lot of responsibility, and that Denny Hamlin, the last one to do it. It's not easy. It's been a while. Yeah. What's the approach? I know you've talked about strategy, but it changes a little bit as the weather has changed.
It's tough. I mean, I think that you've got to get to the end of this race to win. So we could easily get caught up in a wreck, or we could be the wreck or whatever, right, before the end of the race. So it's a lot of hype and a lot of energy going into this race and thinking, man, I could win this race, but I'm just focused on the process, and it's we've just got to get to the end of the event. And with 10 laps to go, you'll probably have an idea of whether you're in contention to win, and hopefully we're in that grouping.
And you start out with who you're going to be working with. Obviously you have teammates and other Chevy drivers, but then that changes, correct? And
it does. You just find your friends. It's honestly, it becomes a weird cast of characters. Like last year at the end of the race, it was myself, Ross Chastain, Bowman, and I think Cindric. And Cindric ended up, being a really good pusher, and the Fords are really good at pushing. So it's just trying to figure out, who you're going to be around. Obviously, they don't want to work with you typically because you're a different manufacturer.
But at the end, everybody just...
At the end, it's just, you're just kind of with a different group almost every time, it seems like. It came down to the fall race at Talladega, and it was a totally different group there. So it just depends.
All right, William Byron, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it during our rain delay at the Daytona 500. They are drying the track, and it usually, even with the sun, maybe 2 hours if the rain stops, but they've got quite a bit out there. So they've been drying for a while. Hopefully we'll be racing within the next hour. It certainly clears out of here for sure around the 5:30, 6 o'clock hour. That's Eastern time at Daytona Beach. Let's check in again with Josh Shins. Josh?
Well, I'm over here with Ty Dillon. Led 3 laps already today, so I know you're itching to go back racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Grizzly nicotine pouches Chevy has been fast all week. We got that cool Grizzly on the hood, and it's wanted to eat out front. It's been pretty fun. A good qualifying lap. The duels, we were really strong, and it's just been so fun to be a part of Kaulig Racing, and everything we've put into racing the few races I ran with them last year. We've just compounded. We just added to our team, and everyone's worked obviously so hard to build speed in our race cars. So just so happy to be a part of it. This is just the start of the year, but it's a big moment to have our Chevy out front leading races. And man, it's I've been coming down here. This is my 9th 500, but I've sat at home for a couple, and that's really a hard thing to do. I sat with my wife, and it gives you great perspective, and you never look back on those moments in disappointment when you get to have another chance again. So I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to run another Daytona 500, to lead laps, and have a chance at racing for my dreams with Kaulig Racing.
Yeah, and speaking of that, what's it like to be with Kaulig, have a teammate like the Dinger to talk to bounce ideas off of, and be back up here in Cup, like you said?
AJ's been awesome. We've only got a couple races under our belt, but we've been in the simulator a little bit and just been around the shop. I know AJ is going to push me to be the best I can be. AJ is a guy that I respect so much because he fights, not only off the track, but he's fought for his career, same way I have. And I am excited to go to the road courses with him, try to learn from him. But I know every racetrack we're going to go to, he's going to push me to be the best I can. And I hope I can return that favor to him. And the ultimate goal is to get Kaulig Racing into victory lane, get ourselves in the championship. They deserve it. They've done it before, and I believe in myself that we can do it again.
So obviously they're drying the track. That's a good sign, but it's going to take a little bit. So what will you be doing over the next hour plus?
Well, I got 3 kids, so it's nothing really gets too calm around us. So we're gonna hang out on the bus, kind of spend some time with them. It's been a fun weekend. My son is 4, my daughter is 7, so they're really enjoying being here in Daytona, and we've had a blessed weekend so far. So hope it continues.
Ty Dillon, 3 laps led so far here in the Daytona 500.
And I'm with Justin Allgaier now. Been a lot of talk about this, man, and what you went through, and your boss man, Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're fielding their first entry in the Daytona 500. First off, what's this week been like in the range of emotions?
It's super stressful. Anytime, you have Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to make their debut Cup Series start, and to know the pressure and stress of that, and Kelly Earnhardt Miller and everybody that's a part of Junior Motorsports. We've obviously had a lot of success on the Xfinity Series side, but this series and this sport is so tough, and just the